All right. So year is what? 2018, late 2018. And we're about 2 weeks in to the Saviors of Old Doom expansion.
Um,
And as of right now, I'm gonna say a deck like it's the standard is being fucking dominated by a control warrior. And what control decks are, just to tell you,
okay.
their goal is to just remove the other guy's stuff until they have nothing else to throw at you. And then you just win by like
They just don't have
they
anything,
just don't
so
have
there's
it. They
nothing to
can't
do.
win, so you win, right? Like that's a
Okay,
control deck.
fucking awesome.
I actually kind of like that archetype, and I'll probably talk about Control
It's
Warrior
kind
one
of
day.
funny.
Cause I did have a lot of fun with Old Doom Control Warrior, even though that deck was super degenerate. Like
It does sound like it would make me cry. Like,
just don't
what the fuck
queue
am I
into it.
supposed to do?
Just
Yeah,
dodge
fair
it.
enough.
just dodge it, dude. But
Okay,
um
sure.
but okay, so they announced some buffs for some cards, and this was something new for Hearthstone. Because like nerfs were something we were used to, right? Because like sometimes a couple cards were maybe like too fucking good at empowering an archetype, right? And like
Right.
threw off the bounds of power. I'm gonna turn you up actually. And like they were just too dominant, right? So they
Yeah.
something needs to be done about them. Um, and but buffs were new. One of the cards they got buffed and later reverted
Fucking excellent.
back to what it was this motherfucker right here. Extra arms, a priest card.
Oh.
All right, so this would be like an artifact in Magic, I
And man,
think.
okay.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
this when it was buffed to 2 mana.
Oh.
So 2 mana, give your guys +2/+2. Add more arms, which was also 2 mana, give your guys +2/+2, but didn't like put another one in your hand. So you could play it once and then play it again, basically.
Okay. Okay, fuck. Damn.
This enabled one of I would say probably the most fucking for what it did at the as early as it did it, one of the most broken fucking decks to ever exist in Hearthstone. This
This is
deck,
the priest one, right?
yes, this is fucking. We call it people like the official name was Combo Priest, but it's just because it had combo cards in it. I think this was the first iteration of what could truly be called Aggro Priest,
Oh.
because I would say something that makes an 18/18 on turn 3 pretty fucking aggressive. So let me show you what I mean,
Mhm.
because this will take some explaining.
We just sit my
So,
white ass down.
uh, I'm getting my fucking notes open, getting all the fucking links open that I need to do.
I
Back.
really am truly obsessed with having the notes for this because it's essential.
Well, like I had to like go back and like kind of dig through a bunch of like old stuff to like find the deck lists for this.
Yeah.
So these cards have existed. Well, they're not there anymore, but
No.
a bunch of these cards I'm about to show you are what they called s- like they're not core cards. I forgot what they used to be called. They're called core cards now, but like these are classic. They're classic cards. They're like the class will always have these cards and will never rotate, or at least it used to be that way.
Oh,
Okay, so let me
okay.
get them for you because there's a set of them that do very important things. And created an archetype that basically had always existed in Priest up until this point, because this deck specifically got these cards fucking shadow realmed. So
I just love the preparation for this, knowing that these cards done all this damage. I just need to hear it.
All right, so this is what they called the inner fire package back in the day. You have
Oh lord.
okay, so there's divine spirit. Well, okay, first there's power word shield. 1 mana, give a minion 2 health and draw a card. You have divine spirit, double a minion's health. And then you have what puts it all together, inner fire. Change a minion's health equal to it. Change a minion's attack to be equal to its health.
Oh my god.
Yes,
I can already see where this is going.
this was divine spirit. Divine spirit inner fire had been something that had just been around forever in Hearthstone, right?
Mhm.
Um, and was kind of just accepted as yeah, just priest gets this. It's something they do.
Sure.
And if I ever do more of these, something to just remember going forward. 1 mana 1/3 is the most problematic stat line to ever exist in Hearthstone. Remember
Really?
this. This this is something that's consistently been like problem child cards are 1 mana 1/3s.
Ugh. 'Cause they're so darn cheap.
They're cheap, they live because they have 3 HP, and
Right.
when they do things, it's stupid. Like,
Okay,
okay,
I do have
for
a quick
context
question.
what?
One quick question.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's not like in Magic where if you don't kill it all in like one turn that it just like regains all the health.
No, it doesn't. Health is
Okay,
persistent.
okay, because that would make this even more insufferable.
No, no,
But
that's one of the things I don't like about Magic is that
yeah, it
like you
makes it
can't
poop
just
poop.
like you can't like put damage into things and it
Yeah,
matter at all.
it literally you have to do it all in one
All
go
right,
or you're fucked.
this
Hi,
was also a
Casey.
classic priest card
Hi,
that's important.
Sneem.
Hey, Casey,
Hi, Alex. Thank you for being my podcast.
I'm recording. Okay,
Thank you for
Okay.
being in my crabcast.
thank you for being. All right, so anyway, you could talk if you want. I don't care.
That's so pale.
All right, so then there's
You better
Northshire
talk.
cleric and inner circle of healing, and then the other guy that I gotta show you. Um,
Like I'm reading these cards and it's already like everything is adding up in my head.
yeah. So wait till you see the next one.
Like even if you weren't like talking to me about what like if I were looking at this
This is
as
one of
somebody who wasn't listening right now, I'd be like, I can see. I can
this
see.
is one of those things I like about Hearthstone. It's pretty easy to understand how the pieces fit together.
For real, the cards just like say what they need to do and don't have a bunch of fucking dumbass flavor all over it.
Yeah. So Northshire cleric, circle of healing, and wild pyro are was like the priest draw engine. This allowed priests to draw an absurd fucking amount of cards when it needed to. Sorry.
No coffee, by the way.
No, that was my that was my log my hours alarm. Sorry.
Right.
But so like with with minions on the board, right? You would put wild pyro down and cleric down. You would then play just any spell in your hand. Wild pyro would deal 1 to everything on the board, including the enemies. One second,
Oh.
I'm getting cold.
Bing 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 bing.
I will be right back. I gotta do a chore.
He's a
Like literally
toilet.
30 seconds. I gotta go like grab something for my dad.
He's literally a toilet. Now what are you doing?
Hey, hey.
I was doing a little wow myself, but then I felt my eyes starting to melt out my head, so I got up and went for the bike ride. And now it's like I'm healed. On your own, son.
Yeah. I'm Santa, by the way.
You're Santa?
Yeah, look, I'm Santa.
Oh, you are Santa. Oh, I like that beard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, sorry about that. Alright, so
Come back.
Wildfire deals 1 to everything on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Circle of Healing heals everything on the board, and because everything's at least damaged to 1, Northshire Cleric draws a card for everything that's been healed.
Oh shit. Wait, oh shit.
You draw a fuck ton with Cleric.
God.
And okay, so those cards have been around forever, and we were kind of used to this at this point. Inner Fire Priest was kind of something
Where
that
did it go?
always kind of existed,
Mm-hmm.
and like, yeah, you lost to it sometimes. But the thing that kind of kept it in check was the fact it, one, needed to stick something on the board in order to pop off, because like, um, traditionally minions with charge, which is like undoes the summoning sickness,
Right, so lets
were
him attack the
either
first time.
almost always had 1 health, or were kind of expensive and also had low
Hmm.
HP. And also Priest just didn't get charged minions printed for them, mostly because of Inner Fire. Uh, Divine Spirit Inner Fire bullshit. So like, they just didn't need to deal. So like, they usually took a second to get going, and also like, weren't like weren't particularly threatening early.
Right,
So they like naturally just aggressive decks that went wide, kind of went at their face, were able to put enough pressure on them to kill them before they killed you with an Inner Fire combo. Because you had to at least like, you had to have a minion stick on the board,
right.
so you could like Divine Spirit Inner Fire it, in order to like dome the other guy within the face, right? So like, you could either like just keep clearing their minions in order to win against that. However, with the number of buffs that just were in the game at the time, and 2 very specific cards, that really just fucking made this deck incredibly broken. Where is he? There he is. So we got this guy, Injured Blade Master, and Injured Tolvir. And you notice both these
Oh,
men are very cheap and have a lot of HP.
they do.
Their battle cry tag says that they hurt themselves when you play them out of your hand, right?
Right.
Uh, Circle of Healing is a free card. It costs 0. You could play that shit whenever, and that's a good way to get these things back to full HP. So, what people kind of picked up on was, with all your buffs and the fact that um so long as you like had an extra arm in your hand, had had either Inner Fire or another card called Topsy Turvy, which was basically just a second copy of Inner Fire, because it swaps the minion's health and attack.
Oh,
Which, if you do enough damage, it doesn't fucking matter if they're swapped, but like, because
right,
like, you'll just fucking kill them. But like,
right.
basically, it's a second copy of Inner Fire. Um, you do that, you're able to just fucking, if you're able to stick something healthy on the board early enough, and the other guy can't fucking deal with it, you just fucking kill him the turn after.
Oh god.
So you would put an Injured Blade Master on board, heal it up with Circle of Healing, give it a fucking, or no, you would do it with under 12 or in like turn 3. You would heal it up with
Give it a
Circle of Healing to
fucking.
full HP, and then put a Power Roll Shield on it, and then you'd be staring at a fucking 2/8 minion on the other side of the board. Then
That's
he
fucking
fucking,
awesome.
then the turn after that, he fucking Power Roll Shields it again, uh, and then Divine Spirits it, so that's what, 20 health, and then you put Inner Fire on
Oh.
it, and then you're looking at a 20/20, right? And it
Oh
hits you
my
in the face
god.
that turn because it's stuck because you couldn't remove the fucking 2/8 last turn, right?
Oh my
Um,
god. How the fuck is
and
this
then you go,
allowed?
and then you look at that and go, man, I really can't remove a 20/20 on turn 4.
What
And then
the
you
fuck?
concede. Yeah.
Oh my
um,
god.
this was peak. This was like they did a major rework of Priest basically after this deck kind of existed, and this deck kind of made that happen, I think.
Oh my fucking god.
Priest hasn't really been like I haven't there I don't there's one Priest deck I remember respecting.
It was
It's
not
been
this?
down it's not this, and then nothing after the rework's been fun to play into. This was a fucking travesty. This was
Oh yeah, this is the bitch.
This was games were one okay, so like in Hearthstone you have something called the mulligan, right? And that's like
Okay.
you've got your hand you draw like your starting hand of cards, right? And you could choose which to throw back and keep. And that's a very important part of the game. Like knowing what
Yeah, what you
what's
have
good to
waiting
keep,
for you.
what you're probably facing based on their class, what they're probably keeping into your keep, like what's good to keep into what matchup or whatever, right?
Okay.
Games were won and lost there alone. Um and you knew the game was over after turn 4 basically. If because either the priest drew like shit and you won because like they didn't draw like they missed their fucking divine spirit, they missed their extra arms, they missed on top seer or inner fire, right? They didn't have Tolvi or they didn't have Blade Master or whatever, right? Because
Mhm.
if they had like any combination of those cards, you were fucked. It's over. Or if they didn't have, or like the other thing is that if they had the cleric turn to get like every fucking card in their deck in their hand instantly, uh, you are also fucked because fucking you don't. One of the most powerful things in any card game is drawing cards, and the guy who
Right.
draws his entire deck is probably gonna kill you with all the cards he drew.
So you can hold as many cards as you'd like?
No, you can't. You have to hold. You
No.
can hold up to 10 cards, and if you draw any
Okay.
more, they like get destroyed. But
Okay. Fuck.
but drawing like you cleric turns are like fucking 5-6 cards in hand, and that like is game losing alone. Like
Oh
that's
god.
an absurd amount of cards, especially for like the turn like how early you could do it because like pyro, cleric, circle, all that shit's cheap. So like it does like you could go off very early and like just draw a fuckload of cards and get that engine rolling really quick. So Control Warrior, even though it was a control deck designed to just take threats off the board, even it could not deal with the fucking turn 4 1818,
I
turn
guess
4
not.
2020.
That's so
It was
fucking
getting fucking stomped by this deck. And to be fair, most people fucking hate control metas because games are long, games are grindy, and then
yeah.
and then classically games will come to a flip of RNG at the end of it if it's a mirror match, and no one likes this. And people like I think like Boomsday was was like the first time we had like a true control deck be like the top dog deck in the game, and everyone hated this, so everyone fucking hopped on the fucking combo priest train. That this fucking horrid fucking deck that like just blew fucking. This is like the most powerful thing I think that's ever been in the game, just in terms of
It
like making
I
that
mean, I
fucking
guess
2020 on
so.
turn 3 is fucking absurd. Like,
Yeah. It's really
uh,
funny, but, like, also, if I was playing against that, I would kill myself.
exactly, and this was fucking everywhere. However, there was one thing of hope, and this was like I personally think.
Hello, Bryce.
Hello,
Yeah.
Bryce. We are spurging. I'm also recording this.
It's important.
It's important. This deck that I'm about to talk to you about is probably my fucking. I think the deck that I personally was the best at playing. Like of all the decks I played, this was the one I understood the best. Was like most comfortable on. I made the best plays on.
Mhm.
I fucking adored this deck.
Okay, so this is the good one, not the bitch one.
This is my champion. This was the hero that they were talking about in that song about needing one. Like this was Holy Wrath OTK Paladin. Um and typically I don't like Paladin. Paladin I think is normally a very boring class cuz usually it's just like it is either you're an aggro deck that just fucking floods the board early and then loses when he loses to like 2 or 3 board clears, or you're a curve deck that plays one card that takes up your entire mana every turn, and you just do that, and it's just kind of like you have one game plan and that's it. Like that's kind of
Uh,
like that's like all you do. I typically don't like Paladin because I find like it's not a very decision heavy like
okay.
deck normally. This one owned though. Um, and I'm gonna show you really quick. I'll show you the two cards that win you the combination of cards that win you the game. All right. First of all, we have the tiger. This bitch. Uh, Shirvala, the tiger. Um, it costs 25.
God damn.
Uh, so okay, really quick, just to explain what this thing mean. Divine Shield means that like it can take um the first time it takes damage, it doesn't,
Oh, okay.
and then the Divine Shield goes away.
It's Holy Mantle.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It's Holy Mantle. Rush is charge, but you
Okay.
can't go face. You
What
have
does
to
that
attack
mean?
like an enemy minion.
Oh, okay.
And then life steal is like any damage it deals, you heal for.
Okay.
And yeah, it costs 25, so this would normally be unplayable, but it costs one less for each mana you've spent on spells. So the more mana you
Oh.
spend on spells, the cheaper this gets.
Oh, okay.
All right.
The
Now to
cogs are
show
turning.
what?
My cogs are turning.
All right. Now let me show you how we kill people with this. All right. One of the funniest cards ever printed, Holy Wrath. Draw a card and deal damage equal to its cost.
Oh no. Oh no.
So you see where we're going with this.
I'm seeing it. I'm fucking seeing it. Oh my god.
All right.
This
So,
cannot be allowed. I mean, obviously it's not anymore, but
well, I mean, we've gotten. I would say there have been more. God, I don't want to
worse?
talk about. I don't want to talk about the fucking Outlands era of Hearthstone because it's a scary time full of fucking OTK decks that just always went off on turn 10.
Oh,
But
Jesus.
we don't need to talk about that era. We don't need to talk about the
No.
Yu-Gi-Oh times. It's
The
okay.
year.
Um, Baleful Banker, which choose a friendly minion, shuffle a copy into your deck. So these were how you killed people. Um, okay, so you would have to draw through your entire in order for it to be consistent. You would draw through your entire deck. Then you would play Shirvallah onto the board, right? And Shirvallah would be free because this deck had a lot of spells and it made her cheap enough, right?
Okay.
Um, you would play Baleful Banker and target the tiger, right?
Mhm.
That would shuffle a copy of the tiger in your deck.
Oh my god.
You would then take Holy Wrath and point it at the other guy's face and deal 25 damage.
Oh my goodness.
And because you have drawn through your entire deck, have every card in your hand that you need to. Um, you had 2 copies of Holy Wrath and 2 copies of Baneful Banker. So over 2 turns, you could deal 50.
Oh, this is so fucking painful, but it's like beautiful.
I
Like I
fucking
love that something like this can happen.
yes, it was awesome because that's just how you kill people. This
Is
deck
it B?
played so fucking fun because it was just a frantic draw fest. It was awesome. You know how everyone jokes about pot of greed in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yes!
And I've told you before, right? Pot of Greed went down as like one of the most busted cards ever to be printed in that game.
Which is fucking hilarious.
This deck had Pot of Greed.
Let's see.
Crystology. 1 mana, draw 2 1 attack minions from your deck.
Oh my goodness.
This was fucking Pot of Greed that drew specific cards. This was the nuts. This was everything.
The
Remember I told you
nuts!
the mulligan phase mattered a lot in this game?
Yes.
You didn't care what the fuck cards were in your hand. You threw that shit back if it wasn't Crystology. That was the only fucking card that mattered was in your starting hand. And it ruled. Okay?
It did.
And
Oh, it did.
so 1 attack cards you ran, uh it was just draw. It was just all of it was just a disgusting fucking amount of draw. Where is he? There he is. You played 2 copies of Novice Engineers. 2 mana draw a card. You played Blood Mage Thalnos. 2 mana draw a card when it dies.
Oh my god.
You played Acolyte of Pain. 3 mana 1/3. When this takes damage, draw a card. Uh and you would just get through your deck like you would just be mad dashing through your deck in order to draw cards.
Goodness gracious.
Um and there was just other like so I think like specifically Crystology is something that's very powerful specifically because it actually okay, so there's 2 types of draw cards in Hearthstone. There are cards that give you there are cards that are called cycle cards, which is a card leaves your hand so another one can enter it. That would be like Novice. That would be like Downloads. That would,
Okay.
and those are called cycle. And because you throw it away to get something back.
Yeah.
Crystology and Paladin traditionally had usually gets cycle cards, right?
Mhm.
So it's kind of hard for them to get because they have to play cards in order to get cards, and that's usually not the most efficient way to do it because you want cards like Crystology that actually get more cards in your hand than when you started when you played with 1 card, right?
Mhm.
So Crystology draws 2. We also had this card Prismatic Lens, and it was funny because it also drew 2. We played it anyway, even though it's 4 mana. Oh wait, this is not it. But it was a cool card. Uh, Prismatic Lens. Draw a minion and a spell from your deck. Swap their cost. Um, so that also was a thing that it was a most that one even though it did give you some funny outs for you could do the tiger combo for 50 damage in 1 turn if you had the right hits off Prismatic Lens. Um, it was just another card that drew 2 cards.
Yeah. Right.
Um, but so and you also had a other couple cycle cards. You had Flash of Light, which was a nice card. 2 mana heal for draw a card. This is just a nice paladin card. You played it, it drew you a card.
Don't
Um,
mind if I do.
you also had okay, so you also have a couple board clears because Paladin has Paladin wants to be a control deck sometimes, and they keep remembering that and then they don't actually put Paladin like real control cards because they go, oh, he's got fucking pyro quality, it's fine. So our friend's back for Wild Pyromancer again, and Paladin had some cards that comboed with him that made him clear the board for you. Uh, the one that's always been there, where is it? Is a quality. Uh, this guy and Shrink Ray. which is like equality, but it also does the health. So basically, you could clear board. You could clear board with Paladin by playing Wild Pyro and then casting Equality, because that count every would set everything's HP to 1, and then make Wild Pyro deal 1 to everything, and just clear the board.
Okay.
And that was all right. That was okay. That got, but like, what really I think, and that specifically was very good into that combo priest I was talking about, because the reason minions are scary is because they have such high HP and they
Right.
could just be interfired. So setting
Right.
things HP to 1 was
It
specifically
just
very
fucked
good
it
into
up.
that deck.
Yeah.
We also had one of the best combo enabler cards ever fucking printed for Paladin. Timeout. 3 mana, your hero is immune until the next turn. So you could just, immune means you can't be targeted and you can't be damaged. So like, you just you have to make them sit there and go, yeah, you can't attack my face for the next turn. During their next turn. And this card is like one of the like, this card gave you a lot of game into that pre specifically, because you could just, okay, you could stare down that 20/20 for a couple turns, because you could stall out and then dig for your answers. And one of my favorite answers, one of the cards that I think like was my fucking favorite to play in the deck because it absolutely fucking destroyed that priest deck, was Subdue. This card. 2 mana, set a minion's attack and health to 1. So you could just go, you see that 20/20? No, you didn't. And completely deleted. I fucking remember the absolute joy I felt having Priest concede on forwarded this card alone. Like, they just fucking would all in, make their fucking massive dude, and I just go, no, you didn't.
Yeah, cause like, what do you do after that?
Yeah, no, they usually, like, after you've cast both of your fucking divine spirits, you're done. That's kind of like it.
Yeah, 'cause like, I mean, there's no recovery from that. You just have to hope it all goes down.
Well, like, yeah, you have to somehow run that back, and by then, like, I've already,
There's
like,
no
the
ain't
reason
no
that
way.
deck was so fucking powerful is because of the absolute power turns it took on, like, 3 and 4. After
Right.
that, you were kind of on even footing because you could spend, your options to, like, get ahead and get rid of their stuff were open because you had more mana to play with. Like,
Mhm.
and Subdue came down so fucking early that it caught them out.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons I love the deck. And also, you were throwing 25 damage worth of tigers at people at the end of the game, and that was awesome.
I love throwing tigers at people.
The tiger
I
goes
fucking
face.
love the tiger, man. Jesus
So,
Christ.
what made
It's
this deck
unstoppable.
cool though is that it also, like, control, even though Control Warrior was losing into that priest deck, it was still a pretty popular deck because it was still strong.
Mhm.
And this deck had a lot of game into Control Warrior. Because, okay, so what Warrior had was armor. Uh, what Warrior has is, like, just as a class, and it's something that deck does, it can do, that Control Warrior, that version of Control Warrior, was gain a fuck ton of armor. And what armor is just like health, that
It's
over
extra
health.
health.
It's just over health,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And because you had this 50 damage combo, and because you had a couple of, like, sneaky ways in your deck to, like, get in chip damage over time, if you went fast enough, and that was, like, the entire thing about this deck, just, like, fucking or just fucking rapidly drawing through your entire, like, just getting everything out as quick as you possibly could, of your deck to set up for that tiger combo at the end. Because I think I had a, like, I think I had a near perfect game once, and, like, had my first 25 hit turn 7. That I think was, like, the fastest I've ever gone, and I think that was a near perfect game. Um, and it was just like, I don't know, that just, like, I hadn't played, like, I like combo decks, they're fun. I had, like, played a couple of them up until that point. None of them felt as, like, cool and smooth as this deck, because you were just constantly playing things and drawing and, like, "Okay, is this the turn I need to time out? Ooh, they got a ooh, there's a 20/20 scaring me down. We're Subdue. Ooh, time out. Let's draw, like, 3 more cards, see if we get it. Okay, maybe we'll get an next turn." Like, it's just that constant, like, just
Yeah.
rampant, just finding like the way to spend your mana most efficiently, the way to like getting in there with like your guys. Cause like the funny thing is, this deck's like the only way you ever fucking win with this deck is with hitting them in the face with the fucking tiger. Cause like your
I
your
love the
your
remote.
all your minions are fucking pathetic. You have like what? You played 2 conks, you played 2 true silvers. So you had like a little bit. You had like what they call like damage from hand, like you could go directly to their face with, but it was like what,
This fucking
16, I
quest
guess.
is
Okay, I
horrible.
guess 16's a lot, but like it was that part of the deck was kind of slow that you had to like throw at their face, but it was still like I don't know the high the you have never experienced the highs and lows of holy wrathing someone for 25. Um, and I got like this was the deck I got to Legend off of the back of
Oh
specifically
my god.
farming the fucking priest. And Legend's like the good like you're good at it's like there's a ladder, right? Like a competitive like ladder.
Right.
And that's like the rank where it actually starts ranking you against other people. Like you're on a leaderboard. And that was the
Oh,
first time I
okay.
ever got to there. And this was the deck, and I think I was this was my golden age. This was like when I understood the most about the game. I knew what the lists were to a T. I understood like how to play to my outs and shit with this deck. I was like in the fucking zone with it, and it just that deck was smooth. That deck was nice.
That deck was nuts.
It was the nuts.
It was the nuts.
Yeah, and that's kind that's today's story, I guess.
It's fucking beautiful.
Thank you.